Welcome, one and all, to my 10th reviewed in 125 words video, where I will not be reviewing something in 125 words, but instead will be reviewing it in 1,250 words. Why, you may ask? Because if you times 125 by 10, you get 1,250. I think I failed maths. And also, the game I am reviewing, Breath of the Wild, is so big, I just can't review in 125 words. I wouldn't be able to do it justice. And because I hate consistency, I'm also going to be changing my review system. Instead of reviewing things out of 5, I'm going to be reviewing them out of 7. I'm reviewing them out of 7 now because I think 5 just isn't enough numbers and 10 too many numbers. And also, yes, it's because the YouTuber Arlo also did it. By the way, you should check out Arlo's channel, it's really good content. Anyway, let's get into the meat of the video, the review. Jesus Christ, you have no idea how long it took me to write this script. Firstly, can I just say I adore this game. It basically created a new genre. And secondly, because this game is so big, I have no idea where to begin. So, I'll start at the beginning, I guess. The game starts at the Shrine of Resurrection, where Link wakes up, has auditory hallucinations, and walks outside. I really like the cutscene that triggers when you go outside. The wide, sweeping shot of Hyrule, in my opinion, shows you what this game is all about. Exploration. And I'll come back to that in a moment. After that, Link meets an old man, a tutorial NPC, a weird guy who tells you to collect orbs, the long dead king of Hyrule's spirit. The king gives you a glider and tells you to go fight Calamity Ganon. There's more to the plot than that, but I don't think it's worth talking about. It's passable for a Zelda game. Same with the voice acting, but since most of the story is optional, it doesn't bother me much. But you know what else is optional? 90% of the game, because this game focuses on freedom and exploration. You have almost limitless options to what you can do. Exploration is where this game shines. The map is giant and pretty much all of it is unlocked after the tutorial. Just the map alone wouldn't be enough though. So that's why there is a ridiculous amount of stuff to do. Like, you could be heading for a village, and on the way there you'll find several enemy encampments, a staple, 2 shrines, a god's corpse, and a Hinox. So this game could take hundreds of hours to complete, or only one, cause you could just go straight to Ganon, or you could collect all 900 Korok seeds. I'm just saying, I spent over 60 hours in the game, and only found about 70 Koroks. So there are plenty of things to do, but not all of them are fun, which is to be expected since the game has so much content. Unfortunately, the unfun parts are traditionally what Zelda does best, the dungeons, or shrines as they're called in this game. The shrines are spread across the map and act as fast travel points when found. Because of the way the game is designed, shrines are short, which I would be fine with if they were all designed well. The problem is, a lot of them don't feel well designed. They feel empty, and because the shrines are smaller, ideas don't feel fleshed out enough, and the difficulty can go from baby's first puzzle to throwing your controller at the wall and looking up a walkthrough. Fortunately, most of the shrines are fine, but I hear no one ask, what about the puzzle dungeons? Well, in this game they're called Divine Beasts, and they're fine. The puzzles aren't great, but exploring the insides of a giant mechanical animal and moving them around to solve puzzles is still a really novel concept, and just needs a bit more work to make it amazing. At the end of the Divine Beast, there's a boss fight against a Ganon Blight, but I usually find them a bit easy because I always have a load of powerful weapons saved up for them. Probably too many powerful weapons, and that's because of the durability system. Weapon durability in this game is way too short. I'll get a new weapon, stare at it too hard, and it'll break. Normally, I can stand it, but when I get a powerful weapon, I just don't want to use it, or at least not until a boss fight. And that means by the time I'm up against a boss, I have an inventory full of overpowered god killers. And anytime I'm not fighting bosses, I just don't want to fight anything, because I'm afraid my weapons will break and it can make combat really tedious and annoying, which sucks because the combat on its own is great. It's not revolutionary, but it doesn't need to be. It's fun and has enough depth that you don't just master it instantly and get bored with it. It especially shines through in the test of strength shrines, which have you fight a guardian scout, and the scout pretty much tests all of your combat abilities. The problem with these shrines though is that you could come in with only a few weapons, and then in the middle of the fight your last weapon would break, and you'd either have to kill the guardian scout with bombs, which takes forever since the bombs do so little damage, or leave the shrine and gather more resources, which can be incredibly frustrating. It's not just the test of strength shrines that have this problem though. No, a handful of standard shrines will force you to leave if you don't have enough resources. These shrines are few and far between, but it seems like a pretty large oversight by the devs. Let's move away from the negatives for a moment, because I want to focus on the art style and overall look of the game. Originally, I wasn't a big fan of the art style, but it grew on me, and I think the game looks great, almost cinematic in places, especially in this dark DLC shrine. But the visual element I love the most has to be the monster design, like guardians and gamblites. I'd say I like every character design in this game, apart from the great fairies because they make the good Christian inside of me uncomfortable. The guardian design is a highlight for me because it's so menacing. Even ruined guardians look scary. Guardians at the start of the game, well, let's just say the second you hear, you don't even think about fighting, you just run. Guardians can be avoided, mostly, but the closer you are to Hyrule Castle, the more there are. This works in the game's favour as it discourages you from going there until later when you have more powerful gear. Of course, like all monsters, guardians drop something when killed, and unlike most monster parts, which are used for elixirs or to upgrade gear, these can be used to make armour and weapons. That's if you find Robbie who makes the stuff. I love this little bit of the game because it encourages you to hunt guardians, and hunting them shows how far you've progressed. Also, I love this because Robbie's Tech Lab theme is a jam. And speaking of jams, this game has very few. In fact, most of the time there's no music at all, which 1. Works with the game, and 2. Makes hearing the Guardian's theme all the scarier. Overall, the soundtrack elevates the gaming experience, which is what it's supposed to do. It's not catchy like Mario music, not grand and adventurous like other Zeldas, it's just there, and I'm good with that. So, what did I think of this game? Well, I thought it was a gaming experience like no other, and despite its issues, it's probably on my top 10 games of all time list. It's nowhere near perfect, and yet I still love what it does right. I can't give this game a perfect score, but it's the first game to do this, so it would be practically impossible to get everything right first try. So I'll give it a 6 out of 7. Well, this review was much larger than I thought it was originally going to be. Because you know how it says, in 1250 words or less. Yeah, I thought it was going to be much less. I thought I'd maybe do about 800 words or so, but nope. I did nearly, probably the entire word limit. So this took a lot longer to make, and if this is out late, it's probably because the script took ages. But anyway, I think my next video is going to be a lot more standard, just 125 words, because again, it takes way too long to make these videos. I might occasionally do big reviews like this, but that'll only be for certain games that I feel really conflicted on or I need to just talk a lot about. Anyway, goodbye, I guess.